Hi folks, how you doing? This is an Airfix Royal Scot, quite a nice looking thing that a chap called David has sent me to have a look at. He said there's a bit of a problem with running backwards. Um, so let's have a wee test run. So it goes forwards okay, no problem there. That's actually quite quiet and smooth for an Airfix locomotive. But let's try this backwards. Stopped. I think that's a connection issue. Yeah. Bit unusual that that's happening just going in one direction, but we'll have a look. But that kind of looks like some kind of connection issue. Right, okay, let's get to the bench. Okay, so this has clearly been changed from an LMS livery to a British Railways one, a wee bit crudely. The main issue I think I've got with this is that the tender body has been glued on. Dear oh dear. Right. I mean, Airfix tender drives are pretty horrible things, I have to admit. Hornby ones are, I think the Hornby ring fields are really good. The Lima ones are okay, lack a bit of torque, but they're okay and nice and simple to work on. But the Airfix ones are a plastic monstrosity, basically. So, I think we're just going to have to try and get into this tender. And I also want into the locomotive to see what's going on with the pickups. And this screw is stripped, it's not doing anything. So we're off to a flying start. That's the wrong screw. That should be a lot longer. How well is this tender glued on? And what's it been glued on with? If this had been glued on with polystyrene cement, it would have been done for, but it's been glued on with something fairly soft, like Yoo-hoo or something, I think. So tender's off, and there is the Airfix ring field, which I don't like. I really just don't like. We'll clean this glue up and we'll see if we can make a couple of clips to keep this on and see if we can get a screw that actually fits in this. I've got one Airfix tender drive, but my Hornby, my later Hornby 2P, which I've basically scrapped, is basically an Airfix tender drive as well. Oh geez, the chassis is broken. That will pop through there, but this tender chassis cracked. So we can clean this glue up and we'll get that super glued. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gears, 6 cogs in here. And these ones are held in place with these brass keepers. And there's probably at least another 3 in there, plus the pinion. I mean, just absolutely nuts. So I think on this occasion, I'm not going to go into this. It seems to work okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave well alone. So in these middle wheels, the flange has been cut off and traction tyres removed. I can kind of understand why, because these things are so prone to derailments, it's ridiculous. But I found that removing the traction tyres anyway certainly helped. So removing the flange, yeah, I can kind of see the logic in doing that. So I don't think there's much I can do with the tender, to be honest. I mean, I could service it, but it's running fine. And as I say, opening these things up is just asking for trouble. So unless there was an actual running problem with it, I don't think we will. I will give it a little bit of oil in the bearings. I'm sure that'll be fine. But what is going on with this? So I'm really anxious to see what's going on with the pickups in this, because that's what I think is wrong with it. I may be wrong. It's maybe a broken wire between the locomotive and the motor. Okay, well, I was kind of expecting to see broken pickups, but they're not, but they are dirty. Big clumps of fluff and dirt between the pickups and the wheels. The two most important things in maintaining a locomotive are keep it clean and keep it lubricated. Yeah, that was stuck between one of the pickups and the wheel. I'm giving this what I would call a light service. You know, I don't want to go taking it all to bits. I've got quite a lot of locomotives sitting waiting to be done now, so I'm afraid I'm having to just do what needs to be done to get the thing going. Nothing. There. That one's okay. Nothing from the front wheels. That's interesting. Why nothing from the front wheels? Let's see if I touch that pickup there and touch the rear pickup. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the front pickups. So basically, we've got very poor pickup from these two wheels here. Suppose there's nothing for it. We're going to have to open it up and have a wee look. Okay, so wires detached from the motor, so I can get that out separate. Alright, it must be the front pickups there are actually separate, but they're riveted on. It must be a very bad connection. I can't think of anything else. But trying to get this out. That's it there. That's it there, and there we go. I think I just need to press down on this rivet a little bit. There we go. Just for good measure, I'm just going to give this a wee tap. There we go. I think that's solved that. I would never have thought that. The little brass rivets holding this copper pickup to this little brass sheet here weren't very tight, and there was just a poor connection between the copper pickup here and this brass sheet. So these two pickups were working because it's all one pickup, but these separate ones just weren't connecting to the wires there at all. But they are now. So get this back together and we'll sort out the tender. This could be easier said than done. Right, there is connection between the wheels, so it's a little bit iffy though, because there's so much movement. But I think it'll be okay. As I say, on this occasion I am not going to service this motor. No, the remit of this repair was to get it to run forwards and backwards. So we'll fix this though. Just get some super glue gel on this. Tender chassis glued back together. Feed the wires through there. Right, I suppose we need to clean up this mess, this glue. It's not too bad actually, it could have been a lot worse if this had been polystyrene cement. It would have been new tender time. What's the actual tender body like glue wise? It's a fairly soft glue. Get these wires soldered back on. Okay, let's see if we can get this weight on. Again, do not over tighten. Just, not even finger tight, just so it's enough to hold. because that's what's happened. That's why this tender was so broken and cracked. It's just been over tightened up putting these weights on. Nice big weight in there. I mean, they're nice bodies, the Airfix models, but just don't like those tender drives at all. Drivers in there as well. Right, okay. Let's see if we can get this to get that together. Put the drawbar through the slot. Unfortunately, I can't really test this with the cover off, because it's what holds the thing together. But before I fix this, I think we'll see if this runs on the layout any better than it did. Okay, let's try this forward. No problem. Backwards. Absolutely fine. Now, what it wasn't doing was going backwards over these points. Okay, that seems to be running okay, so let's go and see if we can do something about that tender body. Okay, I do have a longer screw, which I think will be fine for the front, but it's still going to lift at the back. So, I wonder if I can do my little brass clip trick here. We'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm just marking out a strip of brass on this piece of brass sheet. This is 0.5 of a millimetre thick, I think. So we'll cut this out and make a little clip. There you go. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll just give this a clean up. Get all the sharp edges off. So somebody suggested that I make a separate video about this, and yeah, it's a good idea. I probably will do. But let's just do this for now. So we need to bend that up, not quite at a right angle, and then bend the end in just a wee bit. And what we'll do is we'll just loosen this wrong screwdriver. That wants to go underneath, and I want to bend that one up, and then bend the end in a little bit, and then tighten that back down. And hopefully, once we get the front screw in, that'll sit down fine and just pulls off. So one last thing I want to do is to check the wheel spacing on the tender, because it's kind of critical on these Airfix tenders. The wheel flanges are so thin and quite shallow, so you know they derail very, very easily if the wheel spacing isn't just right. So I'm just going to tweak these just a tiny wee bit because I think the wheels are slightly too close together. That's better. And then finally, we'll give the wheels a clean. It's amazing how dirty front bogie wheels get, and rear bogie wheels. I think they tend to get ignored. You know, people clean their drive wheels and just leave the other ones. Okay then, there we go. That's this Royal Scot all ready to go again. Right, let's stick it in the layout and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's this old Airfix Royal Scot running again. I think the main issue was the front drive wheels. There was no pickup from the front drive wheels, and that was causing it to stop going over points and things, especially backwards for some strange reason. The Airfix tender drives, the wheels on them are very unforgiving. They're very the flanges are very shallow and quite thin, so if the wheels are too far apart or too close together, you can get all sorts of nonsense going on, like derailments and stumbling about in points, especially in reverse. So I've adjusted the wheels a bit, so I think it's okay. I think they're set to about 14mm, not the standard 14.4, but about 14. But tender is now not glued on. It's got its little clips, so it's good to go. Okay folks, on to the next one. Catch you later.